Hi Divine Souls, welcome to Spiritual Swarnalatha YouTube channel. This is a channel on spirituality and healing. I welcome all of you onto this channel. I am Swarna here from Bangalore, India. I am an energy based healer. Since last 6 years I am practicing energy based modalities and I believe in healing body, mind and soul. At the outset, let me thank all my subscribers for subscribing my channel. And I'm loving all your comments and all the mails you are sending to my email ID acuswarna@gmail.com. I'm trying to reply all of them, and there are a lot of appreciation from emails and comments section. And when I'm reading the comments, I'm feeling that I think a lot of the topics which I have covered in the last more than 100 videos, I think it is helping a lot in your spiritual journey. That really gives me immense satisfaction and encouragement to go ahead into making new videos. Apologies, I couldn't make videos in last 2 weeks properly because the climate in Bangalore is not good and it is little chill here, and it's raining most of the times, and the climate, there is no sun coming also, so there is a kind of lazy kind of climate here in Bangalore. So, but I was also busy with little healing sessions and Zoom classes. So today's topic is very interesting, which I have chosen for discussion. It is a spiritual bypassing or shortcuts. So before I go into these topics, a few clarifications I wanted to make it in this video. There are few friends, or there are few spiritual seekers who are doing the practices on their own. I don't know from where they have learnt it, but definitely when they are practicing something, definitely things will come out, complications may come out, or some cleansing may happen, some things may happen with them. So when you learnt it from somewhere else, and when you ask me why this is happening, why that is happening, maybe that I may not be able to guide you properly because I don't know what practices you're doing it. Okay, so I'm not sure what kind of techniques you're using to raise your vibration. So it becomes little difficult for me to answer very personally because I'm not aware of your spiritual practices. So I suggest that from where you have learned those techniques, you can contact them and ask them the things. But if you learned from YouTube and you're doing it, I suggest not to practice such kind of things, because I know YouTube is very free and giving, but at the same time, when you are in trouble, nobody will actually answer you back. So if you have learnt it from YouTube and you're practicing some energy-based techniques, you are actually playing with your own energy. So it is quite risky. I suggest that you get in contact with any channel or a guide and then only do any energy-based practices. This was one thing which I wanted to tell. Okay, and let's get started with spiritual bypassing or shortcuts. Okay, so what is bypassing and what are shortcuts which we follow? Almost all of us have in our life, one or the other time, we have done spiritual bypassing. If not, we will say that it was supposed to happen like that. That's why that happened. That thing happened like that. There is no other outcome for that. And before even going to the spiritual bypassing or shortcuts, there are few assumptions about spirituality, that spirituality is like a it's all about only love and light, and it is very easy journey, and only good vibes you'll be getting it, and there's only happiness and comfort. Actually, it's just the opposite of that. So when you're in spirituality, when you're stepping into spirituality, when you're doing any energy based works on yourself, what happens is there is a churning of your inner consciousness which happens, and we all know that we have more than 5 vices in our what do you say, soul. So more than 5 vices, I keep telling, Kam, Krodh, Moh, Lobh, Ahankara. So apart from these 5 vices, we have a lot more vices in our soul. So the moment we start working on ourselves based on some energy work and some meditation, even if you do normal meditation, what happens is the cleansing starts happening. The moment the cleansing starts happening, the old negativity debris in your system starts coming up. The moment it starts coming up, the shadow self will come in front of you. Your own negativity will come in front of you. So you need to handle that also. The moment you say, no, I am only going to look at the light, or I am only going to do meditation, only I am going to receive light. This is a one way of actually going on your spiritual path. So whenever you meditate or practice any energy based techniques to cleanse your consciousness, what happens is these things, shadow self, will come in front of you. And it's not that everybody who's doing meditation is is as equal to divine. It's not like that. They are also in the process of this human journey. So they are also going through all that at their individual capacity. So once they are into meditation and doing spiritual practices, what happens is the awareness is shifting. Only the awareness that you have this shadow self, or you have this negativity in you, you will get into awareness. That's it. But you have to work on those that negativity also. It doesn't mean that anybody who's doing spiritual work or anybody who's meditating is free of these vices. It's very difficult to say these people are very free of 5 vices. Nobody is on earth can say I am 100% pure, okay, because everybody is in their journey and everybody is working on them every day, every moment. They are working on them, okay. There is nobody who is perfect. There is nobody who is any god or goddess or something like that. We are all infinite beings in this body, having the experiences, learning the lessons, soul lessons, and traveling through this journey of life, okay. So it is a prolonged journey. So all this spiritual bypassing, why people actually take it is like they are scared of the wounds. They are scared of their inner wounds, okay. So sometimes they know they have this, say for example, jealousy. One of the messages which I got today was how do I handle jealousy? Jealousy is inside you. It's not inside somebody else. It's there inside you. That's why you're able to see it. So it's a wound inside you. That's a shadow self, okay. What happens is whenever we are going on a journey, it's easy for ego self, the false identities, to assume a comfort zone, okay. So the moment you get to know that some vice is there inside you, what happens is you always like to go back to the comfort zone, and you say it's okay, everybody is like that, so I am like this, or I am not a god, I am not a spiritual person, so I have lower consciousness. People escape with this kind of words, but it's a soul choice, and also it's a soul's responsibility. So spirituality is not a responsibility of the guru. It's not the responsibility of the channel or guide. It's the responsibility of each individual soul. Okay, the soul has to decide, choose a path and walk onto that and work on their shadow self. Okay, and the moment you start working on your shadow self, slowly you will be getting aligned to the divine consciousness or the unconditional love. It's a long process. It's not a it may not happen in 1 day or 2 day or 1 year or 2 years. It's a constant effort you are making it towards bettering yourself, becoming a better version tomorrow, then again another better version of yourself. Okay, many people avoid healing onto self. They reject their shadow self quite often. So if they are having anger, they think that okay, it happened yesterday like this, so it's fine, I got to know, I'll take care that it doesn't happen. But why? What triggered anger in you? That is a root cause. Okay, that is when you have to go to the root cause and identify that what made you anger, what emotion was generated before anger was generated. So the moment you go in depth and start healing, that is when the actual shadow work happens. But what happens in our general life is we generally reject that wounds or that kind of inner root cause of that particular emotion, and we waste time on not focusing on the root cause. Okay, what happens when actually you are rejecting a part of yourself like that, or you're putting under the carpet? You will say that okay, I know that is what happened, this is very common, or I'll take care, then it doesn't happen. But what happens again, your same pattern is repeating. When the pattern is repeating, when you're getting angry again and again, when you're repeating the same emotion again and again, it means that the root cause of it was not solved. Okay, that is the reason a part of your self, a fragmented self, is actually disassociated from your main soul. This becomes your shadow self. Once you have got, for example, I am giving the anger as example. When you first time get angry and you don't go to the root cause of that anger, what happens is you are putting it under a carpet, or you are ignoring it, or rejecting that emotion or the root cause of it. That is resulting in feeding the shadow self. The more you feed the shadow self, the denser it becomes. It has a capacity to overshadow you. So what happens when the shadow has become so much big that you are not realizing it? It overtakes your own subconscious mind. And when your subconscious mind is getting controlled under this particular shadow self, your soul becomes contracted. And what happens is, it's not able to come out in its own power. Okay. And apart from this, when the one emotion is overshadowing a fragmented self of yours, which has got disassociated and is under the control of one shadow, the other small vices also starts building up. Okay. And it becomes a dark, denser kind of energy which is overshadowing your soul self. So soul self is having a light energy, but this shadow self is having a darker energy. So the dark starts to consume the light. This is what happens. And during this process, you start getting into denser energies, and your ascension stops, your life purpose stops. You will not be able to see your soul mission for which you have come. You will not be able to stay connected to the source, the divine self, and you are feeding on to other vices also. So you have to focus on the root cause of that emotion, not by doing the makeup from the outside. Okay, don't look at the outside. See, always the outer world is a reflection of your inner self. So anything emotion anybody is creating, anybody is showing some ego or some false identities. Ego is a false identity. So if somebody is showing some anger or something, it is your reflection of your inner state in your outer environment. So the programming and the software programming is inside you. So you have to change it inside you, not the other person. Other person is just reflecting, they are mirroring your inner consciousness state. So you have to go to that root cause and change the programming at that level itself. And the more you ignore this shadow self, the more you feed on to the shadow self, the life pains, the experiences which life is throwing up will start giving you more pain. And there will be more drama into your life, and there will be more patterns. See, once if you don't understand your own shadow self, you don't work on that, the soul lesson is not learned. So what happens, the same kind of situations will be again repeating into your life, because you have not learned the lesson. So it will keep repeating until you learn the lesson. And during this process, even your subconscious mind doesn't stops communicating with you, because the shadow self is so denser that it will not allow your subconscious mind voice, the intuition, to raise up and show you the guidance. So that is what happens when shadow self overtakes your reality. And there is a artificial safety which is mind is creating, and there is a defense mechanism which is working. So something is shown to you as your flaw, as your shadow self. What happens is automatically the ego self, the false identity, takes a defense mechanism, and in order to protect you from pain, because as I said, spiritual awakening is not everything. It's not everything which is good. So there are many things which you will face in your life which is more painful, to see your false identities, to see your negative patterns. Everything is not, nobody wants to see their own negative self, right? The moment it is brought into your front, you feel a lot of pain. Soul is feeling pain, and those things have to be worked out. But soul, what it does as a defense mechanism, because of their false identities and ego, what it does, it tries to ignore and put it under the carpet, and it tells that it's safety. For the safety thing, I'm not reflecting onto that particular incident or that particular emotion. What actually makes you do all these things? First is the belief that you feel that I can't face it. Many people think that they cannot work on their anger issues, they cannot work on the 5 vices. They have this subconscious belief which is ingrained into them, and they think that they cannot handle the pain which is being created. So what they do, they give up. They give up. They tell that instead of working so much on myself, facing all these pains, and again the people are coming and pointing the fingers towards me, it's better that I give up. I tell that I am a below normal person, or I have a lower consciousness, or I am ignorant, I don't know, I don't know how to handle it. It's very safe to for a soul to tell that I don't know how to do it. So they think that it is easy to escape like that. So but actually, as I said, spirituality is every soul's responsibility. So to become a better version is everyone's responsibility. That is why you have come on Mother Earth. The main reason for you to come on the earth is to learn the soul lessons and better your soul to the better state of awareness. So in that case, you cannot escape from such kind of a unawareness kind of a statements, or telling that I don't know, I am a normal person, I don't have any awareness, I am unawakened. You cannot say. And for example, if somebody is awakened, or they know what is right and wrong, they know the things what is happening to them, but still they don't want to work on that, especially the twin flames or the light workers who are on the journey of their self-awareness. They are doing some practices and bettering themselves, and suddenly they say that they have a capacity to actually influence masses. So these are the light workers who are already influencing masses. So it need not be a YouTube platform. I'm just telling, if you're there in a society, people listen to you, people consult you for something, it means that your awareness is at a higher level. So in that case also, if you escape, you do spiritual bypassing, you tell that I'm a normal person or below normal person, I have a lower consciousness, or I am unawakened. When you make this kind of statements, considering your defense mechanism which is coming from your ego mind, then you will be actually feeding the shadow self, which will result in the encouragement of the shadow self, and which will also suppress your light energy. That is not the way we should be doing it. So we should be able to face everything. One more thing is false positivity. False positivity is again the same thing. Like, people think that spirituality is very easy. Spirituality is something which is full of happiness. There is only happiness and abundance. It will all happen only when you work on your negative shadow side. Otherwise, it's a little painful. Say for example, if you have some issues related to abandonment or rejection in your past, that has to be worked on consciously by yourself. So when you meditate, these things will come up. So in past, you have been rejected by some people or the society, or you have been left out by some in some relationships, abandonment issues, especially twin flames, they have these issues. Or you have trust issues, you can't trust people easily, or people can't trust you. So these are things will be coming into your consciousness with more force when you do meditation or spiritual practices. So what happens, you have to work on them. If you try to ignore that and put it on the carpet, only think about the light and meditation and all, it is not going to help you. The patterns of this kind of experiences will again repeat. So meditation only doesn't work for twin flame inner work. Twin flames are light workers and they have deep wounds inside them. The shadow self is very deep and very denser in them, the twin flames, light workers and all the spiritual people who are actually deep into spirituality. So these shadow selves have to be worked out consciously. So only meditation will not help them, because how will they know how to handle the emotion? See, what will happen that time is, when you are meditating, you're feeling very light. When you close your eyes and meditate, you're feeling very light. But the moment the situation comes, you're again going back to the old patterns. You're going back to the old pattern of behaving towards the rejection, abandonment, or harsh environment, or trust issues. So what happens? The same things will again come back. What if you don't know how to handle passive aggressive behavior? So somebody in your environment are behaving authoritatively onto you without giving you an opportunity for you to speak up the truth. That is when you have to look inside you and change inside programming, so that the outside people start changing their behavior. Okay, that happens only when you do inner work. Inner work is more working onto your emotions and what is coming up. As you do the spiritual practices, whatever the emotions are coming up, those things have to be worked out. You cannot bypass these emotions in that way. Then how do you bypass? What are the more signs of it? See, there are good and bad both things, but you cannot always say that this is good side of me, that is bad side of me. Everything is coming from light. So you, first thing is you have to observe this polarization in the mind, good and bad. What is that which is coming? So both the light and dark shadows, you have to identify them first. You have to see what is that is coming from inside you. Okay, in that also you have to accept the negativity or the other dark shadow which you are seeing it. Many of us, we tend not to accept it because of our defense mechanism coming out of ego or false identity, keeping you in an artificial safety. Okay, so we are actually not accepting the shadow self, and we give good reasons for it, saying that it was a mistake of the other person or this was a mistake of the other person, showing the pointing out outside, but it is actually inside you. Many people, second thing is like if the person is very empath or very sensitive to energies, the main thing what they do is whenever there is a harsh environment, there is a triggers happening in their environment, they tend to withdraw themselves from the environment because they feel hurt, they feel uncomfortable, they don't want to change, they don't want to heal the wounds. The moment they get kind of a trigger and the wound is triggered inside of the false identities or rejection, abandonment, let it be any reason for that, they withdraw themselves from the environment. Some people go out of the social media, some people withdraw from the society, some people actually totally isolate themselves. So they are also doing like because they are very extremely sensitive to those wounds. Okay, especially the twin flames and light workers are very sensitive and empaths because they pick up the energies of the people. They sometimes tend to avoid such kind of wounds, but you cannot avoid that. What is that is triggering inside you? You have to go deep inside the root cause of your emotion and try to heal that particular emotion. That is when you will be stepping into your own power. That is when the light will go to every corner of your shadow self and heal it and become a light warrior. So you have to heal each one of it. One more thing is that people feel inferior and they withdraw again. They think that being inferior, say for example, they have issues of jealousy or anger in them. So what they feel that we are humans, so it is very common to have it. So again they are putting into that shell that we are humans, we can have it, and then again not working on themselves. And sometimes they judge also themselves, like I'm like this, I'm like this. So these judgments also doesn't allow them to work on their shadow self. So the moment they judge and put a conclusion that I am an angry person like this only, I am a straightforward person like this only, I am a person with jealousy, I am like this only. So whenever they are putting this labeling and judging themselves, they are putting themselves in a comfort zone. Their false self, ego self is making them comfortable so that they don't move on in a ascension journey. There is no stagnation in the universe. Everybody has to grow. The things have to move on. If you don't learn the lesson, it will come in some other form. But there is no stagnation. But there will not be any growth also. If you don't try to work on your spiritual aspect, there will not be any growth also. And there are some other escaping signs where people say the world is an illusion. So they just say that and they escape from it. So it's world is a maya, world is an illusion. They say this and they escape. That is not the way. It is not the way you should avoid the things outside. And whenever the triggers are happening, somebody is coming and triggering you, they are projecting the emotions which are not healed inside you. So they are projecting this. So the blame game won't work for a longer time. Maybe you may win in that particular situation, blaming some other person, but it will not work in a long run, because again the situations will come where people will trigger you inside and you have to again work on your wounds. It's not the other person who is actually they have become a channel for us to understand our own spirit. Spirituality is actually, if you have heard my previous videos, I have been telling that spirituality is getting into actuality of the spirit. So we are getting back to the source. In that source there are no wounds. We are all divine in that form. We are unconditional love. We are all having that divine qualities. So there is no blame game. So blame game is happening means it is a channel. That person has become a channel for you to identify those triggers and emotions and wounds which are actually inside you, which needs healing, which needs to be addressed by you, accepted by you, worked upon it by you. So that you have to do it. Many people like to wear masks. Mask is not that Karuna mask, but it's a mask which the false identities, they like to wear it. In the social media, they'll be posting the selfies of very happiness and all, old pictures where they're very happy, they're pretending to be happy, they're pretending to be satisfied and content, but inside they're crying, or inside they're actually in a different state of mind. Okay, this you have some people do this, they are all smiling outside, but inside they'll be feeling shit inside. There is no peace and no calmness. Okay, so these are masks which have to be dropped down. These are also ways to do spiritual bypassing. Then how do you handle the spiritual bypassing? Little more small tips which probably might help you. There is no shortcut other than to do spiritual inner work. Okay, the shadow work has to be done, the inner work has to be done. Okay, there is no shortcut to that. So the moment you identify a emotion which is actually hurting you or creating a a kind of imbalance in you, you have to identify why it is being created inside you. And the moment you identify, you start working on them and not making the shadow self bigger than you. So if you make the shadow self bigger in you, one more thing is that the more karma will be created, because again when situation is coming, you will behave in the same anger, unawareness state. When you behave the same thing again in another situation, you are creating karma for yourself through another set of people. There is no end to it then. So we don't want to continue the karma. We all want to have a better life. We all want to learn and learn the lessons and grow spiritually and materially. So all that will only happen when you start healing your denser self or the shadow self. There is no shortcut to inner work. If you have anger or any emotion, first is acceptance. You have to accept that I was a failure, I was angry, I was jealous, I had this possessiveness behavior, I didn't have trust, I had a trust issues, I was having this harsh environment, I was rejected, I was abandoned. So all these emotions have to be accepted first. Once you acknowledge, then you have to use tools to heal that. The moment you accept it, you become much more stronger. You have taken the first step towards your healing. The moment you don't accept, you reject it and put it under the carpet, it's very difficult for you to come out of that. And why generally people don't accept it is because of their belief system, or the ego self is telling that there is a lot of pain inside. The moment you open the Pandora box, all things will come. One by one things will come. So better not to open Pandora box only. Let it be closed like that only. So that is what the ego self is telling you. No, don't open it. All the other emotions also will come one by one. You have to heal all this. It's a painful thing. So don't open, just close it. So your ego mind is telling you to close it. But actually that is not the way. You have to listen to your light self and start working on to that. You have to step into your power. You have to believe that you are stronger than that shadow self. You are stronger than your emotions. And you have to always remember that you are an infinite being and you have a tremendous power inside you to change anything. The soul has a choice to choose, change anything. The soul has a choice to choose anything. Okay, they can shift their timelines, they can shift their realities. The soul has a choice. The moment you give up the thought to the shadow, shadow becomes bigger. So you are not supposed to do that. You are supposed to reaffirm that you as an infinite being has tremendous power to change the reality by changing your internal environment and healing your inner self. And inner self is always under the knowing. Your inner soul is always aware that there are a lot of shadow cells, layer by layer. It's not that one day you do some work, inner work, and you have a situation which is created. Situations will come to test you. So one situation is coming and you behave some way, again you have done your wrong steps, you have done it, and again there is no guarantee that another test in another form will come or not. It will come, because it'll keep on testing you whether you're actually learned the lesson or not. So it's not a one time. Once you have learned, once you have reached one state, there is a no growth, or you are a very learned person. It's never happening like that, because there are so many layers of shadows inside you. One by one it will start coming. So the moment you prepare for one stage, one level, like in a game, one level comes, you jump or leap that particular situation, then again another level starts. It's a level. So it's like layers of the soul which are coming out. So you have to handle it with awareness, and layer by layer it will keep coming out. And human journey is a tough journey, so be very kind to yourself, because the lessons which we are learning, the learning speed has become very fast. It's leaping very fast, especially in 2020, or instead last few years. Learning has become very quick. So if you do any mistake, it is repeating in front of you. You will know that the karma is coming to you. Karma is nothing but learning of your lessons. If you have done a mistake, acknowledge, accept, and then move on. Start a single step at a time. Try to take a back step from this physical body. Whenever you have a doubt, whenever you think that you're doing wrong, or your subconscious mind is alerting you, the first step is to step your spirit from your body. So that time you don't play the role, you leave the body. Say for example, I am like this, so I am telling myself, let the Swarna be, this is Swarna's role she is playing, but I am the spirit. So when you say you are a spirit and this is a body which is playing this role, so that time you will be in a highest awareness. You will know that what Swarna is doing, what other people are doing to Swarna. So that is an easy way of identifying the shadow self. The moment you identify the shadow self by separating yourself from the physical body or physical vessel, it becomes easy for you to understand the situations. And all the triggers, all the situations which are coming near to you, around the people who are actually triggering you or sending you some kind of a negative vibes, or say whatever it be, let it be. It is for your goodness. They are your best friends. They are the best teachers for you. So it is going to happen. It's going to happen quite often. And people, the moment you start doing spiritual practices, it may become more also. So many people ask me, I'm doing everything, but situations are coming. Today, big quarrel happened. People are saying like this, things are happening like this in my life. Why it is happening? It is actually a testing phase for you. How much you have learned, how much you are growing, how much you are maintaining a witness perspective, how much you are untouched by the emotions happening outside of your, or when you are touched by something, it means that there is a wound inside you, which has to be addressed. Okay, so that is what is the spiritual bypassing, which some people do with the comfort zone, and also ego plays a defense mechanism kind of a role. I hope you'll like this video. We all have done this kind of a spiritual bypassing some or the other time in our life, but in case the soul wants to grow, the ascension has to happen. As say, the change is only constant, so everybody has to change. So this is a constant process. So there is no other way. There is no bypassing. We have to do the inner work. We have to identify, acknowledge, heal with the tools. So I hope you like this video. In case you like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.